doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 352nd episode of the Alfa Insurance Georgia Prep Sports Drive to the GHSA State Title. Today we're going to be joined hopefully by three head coaches. It's going to be St. Pius, Evans, and then Providence Christian. I'm talking to Barrett Davis right now. As you know, Evans High School is right by Augusta National, so he actually has some of his players, I believe, volunteering up at the Masters. So we'll try to get them on as soon as we can, but let's get started. Let's just get right into it with head coach Chad Garrison. Hey coach, how's it going?
Good, Craig. Thanks so much for having me on today. I appreciate it.
You bet. It's always great catching up. So want to ask you just about this off season, how you feel about your team. I know a couple years ago I remember you guys had big senior classes, like 27 plus. It looks like you've had to replace a bunch of guys, but how do you feel overall about this group?
Well, I'll tell you, Craig, we're really excited about the upcoming season for several reasons. One, because of our rising senior class. We've got a big class of 37 seniors. Many of them are going to be called on to play major roles for us. But I'll tell you what else we're really excited about. We've got a large number of the major population that is going to be part of our football program. Our current roster stands at 114 men who are grades 12. So that's roughly 25% or so of our population. We're very excited about the numbers. And one of the reasons we wanted to get the numbers up is, over the last years playing up at GHSA, one of the things that became clear is we had to fit our depth. And I think having this number of bodies and these quality, high character young men that have been working really hard since we started in January is going to give us the ability to improve our depth and hopefully go to more of a two-platoon type of system.
Absolutely. And then I know finding depth specifically on the offense and defensive line, that's super important for you guys. So how has that been a focus just in past seasons and then this season?
Well, I'll tell you, we are blessed these next couple of years. We've got some young, good-looking, big offensive linemen. I was commenting today with one of our coaches during our morning workout. We've got several guys that are 60 above, which we've had the occasional, lineman at 260, but this year we're going to have a handful, meaning, between 4 and 6 guys are going to be earning themselves some playing time. And the real thing is they're young. So both a bad thing. It's a good thing because we're going to have it for a couple of years. And then it's a learning experience. I shouldn't say a bad thing. It's a learning experience for them getting in the fire on a Friday night. But we've got several guys at 270 and above with some good height on them, which is going to do nothing but help us be a better program all the way around.
Yep. And then people would look at last year's
opponents, whether they be our end of the season loss to Thomas County Central, or of course the Mayor's program. We played Park, Blessed Trinity. North Atlanta had a very good program this year. It was a very eye-opening season for a lot of our guys. So that resilience that we gained by being in those tough games, you can really see it right now, just in what we've been doing in the weight room. The way our kids have responded to our head strength coach, Bobby Hayes, and what he's asked them. We're anxiously anticipating our next weigh-in. We feel like kids have done a really solid job of getting, between 8 to 15, some kids as much as 20 pounds since we started in January. It's been really, really good 3.5 months for us in the weight room. We're anxious to get on the field in May for spring practice and ready to get into the summer and into the next season.
Yep, and then one of the things that has brought so much success to St. Pius is offensively, you guys have run pretty much the same system, the flex bone. You guys have that base defense that you guys run, and that's really used to neutralize your opponents. And then you guys focus on the execution, and then once you're able to kind of iron out your own system each season, that gives you the advantage. So what's the difference this year? Is it the weight room, the strength, the conditioning that you think you'll be able to neutralize but start to tilt these games in your favor?
Well, I think the biggest thing, I'd say there's two big categories for us. One is the weight room, of course. We've gotten bigger. We've also spent a lot of time on our speed and agility and quickness, and our kids have done a great job improving those areas. But I think, the biggest thing, too, is our execution. We're not to the level of execution that we've seen, in my time here at St. Pius. And we've got to return to doing the little things which help us make the big things happen. That's in all three areas, offense, special teams. So that's been a point of emphasis for us. One of the things that we did this year, we went back to create accountability teams for each of our players. We broke each of the young men up into 12 teams, and they're responsible for working together to accomplish certain tasks throughout the week. They score points for their team with their attention work. Of course, grades in the classroom, seeing teachers, doing peer tutoring, works of mercy, all little things that can help us, as we get to practice. We can reflect back on all the hard things that we did in the off season as we get into the practice season, which is going to do nothing but help us as we get into game in the 24 season.
And then you're talking about the size up front on that offensive line. Who are some of your big power guys up front?
Well, we're looking for a couple of young men to come step in and really do some good things for us. One will be a returning tackle, Charlie Nelson. He's 6'4", 230 pounds. He'll anchor the left side for us. We've got some other young players this year. Center Reed Bentley will be back. So we moved him to guard last year. He's going to go back to six. He's probably one of our smaller linemen, meaning he's only 5'11", but he's solid. He's 215 pounds. He's a great wrestler for us in the program. We feel like his skills and his ability with his feet can do nothing but help us at the center position. And we've got a couple of young tackles. One being right, Daniel Gorham, who's 6'4" and 280 pounds. Another young man in Tyler Luce will be battling for Tyler Luce, who is tall of 6'2", and he's a solid 260 or so. And we've got a young man named Jack Rand, who's going to be a sophomore. He actually played in Northeast Georgia All-Star game this year at guard. Really showed a lot of a great footwork and the ability to move well, and I think he's going to be a big player for us there. And those guys, along with some of our other returning senior linemen like Jackson Neal, Noah Fowler, they're going to be really good players for us. There's going to be a lot of competition, not just on the offensive line, but on the defensive line too. We're excited about it.
And then how important is it this season for you guys to get off to a hot start?
I think it's hugely important. I think to show to the kids that all the little things that we've asked them to do, the hard work that they put in, as we to remind them, all they're doing is they're stacking good day upon good day, but they're themselves opportunity. Does it guarantee wins? No, but it gives themselves an opportunity to be successful in the game. Our two non-regional opponents to start the season are Blessed Trinity, and I know Coach Dudley up there has done a great job with his kids, and they're getting ready for us just like we're getting ready for them. And then our first home game of the season will be Lakeside, which is literally almost around the corner from St. Pius at 10th. So it's a good natural rivalry. That'll be a big game before we get into region play in our new 4A region.
That's right. And then how much difference is this year's region? I think you guys might have lost North Atlanta, but you obviously still have Marist. Looks like Tucker's in there now. Any other Southwest DeKalb?
Yes, sir. Picked up some good quality teams. Not, of course, Marist is always the standard. And then Jones over at Tucker's doing a really good job with his group. Coach Bell, Southwest DeKalb is an emerging. They're getting back to what they used to be. I think the new coach down at Latonia is going to do a really good job, along with up-and-comers, like Northview and North Spring, along with Clarkson's getting back into football play. We're excited about that. So while we're not playing North Atlanta or Dunwoody, we have picked up some other good quality teams, which is going to make our region schedule, very difficult. But we feel like we'll do our job. We're definitely going to be and get to that second week in November, and then let the throw the dice out there and see what happens.
Yep, and then last question. I know got a jam-packed show today, but talk about the defense this year, who you're really excited, confident that can eliminate the big play, help stifle some of these speedy teams you're going up against, and really set the tone for you guys.
But we're really excited about our defense, led by Chuck Land, longtime defensive coordinator here, former head coach at Heritage, athletic director down there. We're very blessed to have him with us, along with a very strong defensive staff. Some of our guys that we're counting on will be one, Hudson Taylor, who I feel like he's a big-time recruit for us. He's got multiple schools, but he'll be playing that free safety rover position. Then at the linebacker spot, whether it be Barrow and in the middle, or Luke Pinson is one of our outside linebackers, or Kate Bose, another of our guys, played that linebacker position for us. We see a lot of teams that spread concepts. We have to have guys who run, play in space, and tackle well. We're excited about that. Some of our other kids, like a Carter Candelakis, another senior force, are going to do great things, along with Asher Chenault, who could be, if he's not at free safety when Hudson's at rover, then Asher could be at that rover spot for us also. And then some of those guys I mentioned earlier, like a Reed Bentley.
Looks like Coach might have gotten booted off real quick. Hang tight. Let's go ahead and bring on Coach Davis. Hold up. One sec, guys. All right, I think we have Coach Davis. Do you see him?
Froze.
One sec. Okay. All right, well, and if Coach Davis can't come on, I just talked to Coach Garrison. We'll have him back on, but let's see if we can squeeze in Coach Davis real quick.
She's froze.
Okay, and you don't see Coach Davis?
No, sir.
Okay. Let me see if I can call him real quick. Hey, Coach, can you hear me? All right, do you have 5 quick minutes? All right.
Now, what's your work or not?
All right, so tell us what you guys are up to today. I mentioned the Masters are in town. You guys are no stranger to that.
That's right. No, we're actually out on spring break, so everything kind of lines up with the Masters. So teachers' kids are out of school, and a lot of them just work the tournament. I drive for a company outside and just kind of drive clients around for the week. And a lot of people rent their houses out for the week and get out of town, and some stay and work and saving for some vacations later. So that's kind of what we're up to. A lot of people in town, and I got to go in Saturday and Monday to the tournament. So it's been a fun week so far.
And do you guys always have spring break the same week the Masters come in?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Everything for Augusta coincides with the Masters. The Masters sets the dates and the spring break goes.
That makes sense. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, obviously you guys have been stacking up the win total year after year, but the big commitment from Mason Short, he is a guy that has really helped bring some light to you guys. He plays with incredible effort. Talk about how excited you are for him committing to Georgia, but also what he's going to be able to do this season.
Well, I mean, I'm excited he's figured out where he's going to school at. And, I'm excited he is a Georgia Bulldog, but we would have been happy for him no matter where he chose. So he's a good kid. He's a good young man. Good Christian kid. He does things the right way and he leads the right way. And we've got a lot of great kids on our team, and he's just a massive one that does things the right way. I tell everybody he's done everything from sweeping a locker room to hammering guys on Friday night. So there's no job too big or small that he doesn't try and help with. So it's just been a blessing to have him in our program, and we're happy he's committed now.
Yeah, and he's going to be playing with a lot of pride. But who else on that offensive line, Coach, has played up with Mason these last few seasons that we should keep in mind of?
We've got a couple guys returning. We returned 4 out of 5 on our offensive line. We've got a junior, Alan Morris, who has worked hard and done things the right way. He's been starting. He started all last year for us and played some as a 10th grader as well. And then Justin Tillman, incredibly strong kid that's he got better as the year went on last year. Last year was his first year starting at guard for us, but both of those guys along with Mason and then a couple more we got to fill in. We've got a 9th grader, Christian Bland, who has done really well. He played a good bit. He's about 6'4", probably. Good sized kid. He played some as a freshman, so it's just getting those game reps and getting that experience. And we've got 3 out of the 5 that have a lot of experience, so we're hoping that'll pay off for us up front.
And then you guys are, last question, Coach, you're opening up against Thompson. I know your region is pretty much the same, but have you guys been playing Thompson the last few seasons?
I've known Coach Youngblood. We used to work together at Burke County a long time ago. But we have scrimmaged Thompson the past 2 years. So we've been able to, have them as a scrimmage and then see what we need to work on and stuff. And it's been good competition for us. So, but we're excited to get to play them for a real game now. And we were lucky the schedule's lined up for that date for both of us, and we both needed one. So it's good to have a good local team here we can play, and we can both benefit from each other and play some hard-nosed football. So we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. Augusta National spring football doesn't get more spring than that. I really appreciate it.
That's right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having us on, and go Knights.
Go Knights. All right. So hold on one sec. All right, hold on. So there you have it. There's Coach Barrett Davis. I think Evans, if you look at their schedule last year, they were in a tough region. They had the Brunswicks, Glenn Academies, but they're a team that has been stacking up its win total each season. Coach Davis is doing a phenomenal job, and they're going to be solid up front with Mason, the guys that have helped anchor, and he just gives them so many options when you can use the sheer size of Mason Short, who as an offensive lineman has really brought a spotlight to this Evans program. He stands as one of the best offensive linemen in the country, in the state as well. So sometimes it's the quarterback that brings that attention, but he was the big home run commit for the Dogs this last week. So that's big news. Definitely watch out for Evans. Big matchup against Thompson week 1. Let's go ahead, take a quick break, and we're going to be joined once again by Coach Garrison on the other side.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, does it matter if this leaks?
It don't matter to me. Can't see it from my house.
illegal use of hands, and proper training.
GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com has 14 different highly skilled trades with tuition-free training in our certified apprenticeship programs to train you the right way. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
All right, welcome back. So hold on one sec. I usually don't book 3 guests, but between the Mason Short commitment to Georgia, wanted to talk to St. Pius and Providence Christian, tried our best. So we're going to try to get Coach Garrison back on in a second. So he's been at St. Pius for a long time, I think since 2000, took over for Coach Paul Standard. And he also has experience, I believe he was at Campbell before he went to St. Pius. Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm back.
Sorry about that. I did cut you off. We had Coach Barrett Davis on from Evans. He was at Augusta National, and he only had 5 minutes, so I didn't want to blow him off. So I really appreciate you hanging tight. But I was talking about before St. Pius, walk us through, were you at Campbell, and were there any other spots you were at before that?
Yes. This is my 24th year here at St. Pius. I came in a Hargan in his last year, and then was fortunate to Paul State board. I felt like I had kind of secondary Paul spent 20 years together. And, then when he left and took the Gilmer job, I was fortunate enough to be promoted to head coach. But before coming to St. Pius, I was at Camp High School. Spent 9 great years there. Was in the middle school for a couple of years and coaching, and then was moved over to the high school. And actually, my last year at Campbell, I was teaching there, but I was actually a community coach over at Lovett, at the Lovett School with Bill Rayleigh and his staff. And then I was fortunate enough to, as I said before, be hired by Jay Hargan, who he had North Georgia together. And then it's been a great experience for me ever since that time in 2000 when I came over here, and I've loved it. All 3 of my kids have gone through here. It's just a great, great place to be here at St. Pius.
That's right. And so all 3 of your kids, they went to St. Pius as well?
Yes, sir, they did. They're all grown and out of the house now. My oldest daughter graduated in 2009, and she went to Georgia College. And then my youngest daughter, Mackenzie, played on the state championship basketball team here in 2013, and she went to Georgia Southern. And then my son graduated playing football and baseball here. Graduated in 2016. He also attended Georgia Southern. They're all 3 grown out on their own. We're very excited for what they're doing. Wedding's coming up also.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about just being at a big, major Metro Atlanta private school. We're obviously talking football, but when you look across the board athletically, whether it was our basketball state finals, all these other sports, it's just so competitive for these schools just in their athletic departments, obviously academics as well. So what have you seen just being at a major private school in Metro Atlanta and just how competitive it is between the Marist, the Westminsters, BTs, and that group?
It's incredible. I mean, it really is. It's a truly challenge. You know, when you think about not just Marist and BT, 2 other Catholic schools in the metro area, but you've got great private schools in Westminster, but Lovett, Greater Atlanta Christian, you've got Wesleyan. You know, there's a lot of great schools or great opportunities for, families in the metro area. They don't feel like their local public school is going to give them what they want. Now, I'm a public school guy. I graduated from Redemption in 1993, so I'm always going to support the public schools. But I'll just say that I think the private schools in the metro area give these families great opportunities, different experiences for their kids. It gives them opportunities to do things they want to do outside of the normal school environment. We're fortunate here to have not great academic, but a tremendous fine arts program led by our department chair Ian Lebrecht, staff, in the theater and the band and our dance. in our chorus groups and things. We're just blessed here to have a bunch of talented kids who want to work hard in all areas. You know, we've got kids here who excel not only in the classroom, but they do well in fine arts and athletics. You know, one young man I'll talk about is Vincent Casal, who is truly a he writes his own music. He plays multiple instruments. He is, a deep faith here through the Catholic community. He helps with the Frassati brothers, but he's also an outstanding football player for us, wrestler. He runs track. He truly encompasses all the things that we talk about here at St. Pius. You know, building somebody academically, spiritually, doing all the good things to help him as he moves forward and graduate heads on out the door.
Yes, and I think you mentioned that's one of the things that St. Pius has that never changes. It's the players, the parents, and what was the other one?
In the community. Our community. The players, the parents, and the community. Our parental support in all areas, not just athletic, but in all areas for our school. We are blessed to have the parents that we, and I feel like we've got a great group of parents who are willing to make the sacrifices needed for their great education. Our parents do whatever's necessary. They'll bend over back to help the program here in athletics, in arts, and practice programs. You know, we offer many, additional course offerings, AP offerings, health classes, and support classes, refreshers. We have a writing. We do many things to help all of our students be successful, not just while they're here at St. Pius X, but as they get out of here, they go on to college and do the things that they're going to do as they move on to the next phase of their life. Tremendous, the things that we have. And I try to get across to our kids, you don't get that at school. When we have a homecoming weekend, we have alumni that come back, not just a couple of years out. We have alumni that come back from the class of 1968 and 69 and 74 and 75. It's tremendous to see them and talk to them and hear what their experiences have been like when they were at Pius and to see how Pius has changed. One of the greatest things I can say is that we have a lot of, I guess you could call them legacy type of kids here. Their parents are graduates of here. Sometimes their grandparents were graduates of here. Now the parents went here, and now they're here also. In fact, I've got two on my team now that are sophomores. Their dads were part of my first team here back in 2000, 2001. It just speaks volumes about our school and our program and what a great place it is that those alumni want their kids to come back here also.
Absolutely, and we covered, I think, the BT Marist game last year. It was amazing to see all the families that were there because it's not like a public school where everyone's kind of in the same neighborhood. Some of these families are moving around, but then there's so much pride there. But I want to ask you a question because you were talking about the St. Pius legacy kids that maybe their dad went there, they're going to start up young. Is it challenging for a kid, maybe he comes to St. Pius late into his high school years, to adapt to the private school model, the traditions of St. Pius, and fit in? What have you seen from that?
Well, I think, one of the really good things we do here is we bring all of our kids in. We treat them as individuals. Even if they're an alumni, they're an alumni. They are their own person when they come in here. And the things that we do to, bring them on board with our traditions here, and many of them that are our parents, they've been to the games. They've come to the theater shows. They've come to the performances. They've been here on Friday night basketball game when we're playing, Marist or BT, seeing the raucous crowd and the support that we have. So they are well versed in what it means to be a Golden Lion. But when they walk through the doors, they're their own kid. And I know I've said great a lot, but this is one of the best things about St. Pius here. There's not a teacher here that will not bend over backwards to help their students. And it's just tremendous the support the teachers are willing to give so that their students can be successful. Because every every student that comes through here is not going to be a 4.5 GPA, 1590 on the SAT. We have such a wide range of students here, but our teachers do whatever's necessary to help our students be successful, give up their time before school, during their lunch breaks, during their play periods in school, to offer office hours for our students so that they can be successful in their class.
Yep, and obviously you guys have a ton of multi-sport athletes. You yourself, I think, have been was it track coach, maybe soccer?
Yes, sir. I've done a lot of things. Played soccer at Redan and played at North Georgia, and I was the head soccer coach at Kansas. But in my career in St. Paul, I was the head strength conditioning coach for 2 years. I was the head track and field coach from 2006 to 2011. And then I was the head baseball 21. And I've gotten to see, so many different areas, different programs here at St. Pius. It's just been a tremendous family, and I treasure every minute that I've been here.
And is it uncommon for you to coach kids in football that actually end up signing to play maybe a baseball scholarship, a basketball? Have you seen that a lot over your years?
I've seen that, and that's one of the good things. I think all of our coaches are on board with. I know that our Hall of Fame baseball coach, Andy Harlan, he loves players who are multi-sport athletes, especially football and play football and basketball. It's not unusual at all for a kid to be a pretty good football player, but be dominant in basketball or lacrosse or baseball, or to be a really good baseball player and then be, one of those cogs that you need on a football program, or a basketball player who also plays lacrosse, or a football player and a wrestler. And I'm just talking about the boys' sports, but I'll tell you, our girls' sports, they do a great job of sharing. Our soccer players, we've many of them play basketball. Many of our, of course, cross-country athletes, they run track and field. If you look at our women's basketball program, a lot of them do football, like they play like football, then they go to basketball, and a lot of them go into a third sport sometimes, whether it be tennis or golf or track and field, or they're playing soccer for us. I mean, they're just doing different things here. Over 70% of our kids are involved in our athletic program. Of that, I would be willing to say the numbers as high as 45 or 50% of those kids are multi-sport athletes, which just speaks volumes about the quality of kids we have here, along with the high character kids that we have here also.
Absolutely. And then, so you guys are coming off spring break. I think you guys returned on Monday. Obviously, you probably had kids that were out throwing passes, running on the track, hitting the weight room. But what did you see just from them with their focus coming back from spring break this week?
Well, it's pretty exciting to the trips, and the things they did is always a fun time. And as long as we don't get any bad reports about it, which we haven't today, which is good, it's always an exciting time to hear what they are nowadays. They're not just going to ski. We have a bunch of them who went skiing. We had some who went, trips to Europe. We had some who were traveling to Jamaica. I mean, they were doing kinds of different things. But I think it was a great time of a great break for us. We actually were a little ahead of the traditional spring break because it was the Holy Week. But we had, Monday, the Thursday before Easter, and then, of course, Good Friday off. So our students ended up getting about an 11-day break. So they have come back refreshed and renewed. And on top of that, our seniors only have about 18 class days left, so they are very excited about the end of their high school careers, and they're ready to move on, because all of the announcements about where they're going is coming. But it's been just a rejuvenated feeling this week for everybody, not just the students, but our faculty and staff and everybody, administration. It's been a really good week for us as we've gotten into the first days after spring break.
Yep, it's always an exciting year, and I know with these playoffs coming up in spring sports, it's going to be a lot of fun. But Coach Garrison, we thank you so much for your time. Best of luck this spring into the off season, and we can't wait to see you in 2024.
Sir Craig, thank you so much for not just you, but all your staff and what you guys do for high school athletics. Really appreciate it. So,
you bet.
thank you now.
All right. There goes Coach Garrison. All right, so we got a lot of information about them. And, yeah, you look at their record last season. They struggled in some of those initial matchups. They actually played BT very close. It's a rivalry game, so expect crazy things to happen. That's who they're going to open their season with. They're going to have Marist again. That was actually a 17 to nothing game, I believe. And Marist obviously came up just short to Thomas County Central in the semifinals last year and was one of the toughest teams out there. So I think St. Pius is going to be ready to roll. Despite last year's 3-8 record, they made the playoffs for, it looks like, the 18th consecutive season. And since Coach Garrison got there in 2000, they have made the playoffs every single year but two. They have multiple quarterfinal appearances, looks like 10 region championships. And then this year, it will be an expanded region. And it looks like they will get things started September 13th in region play, I believe. So, yeah, they only have 3 non-region games and then it's straight into it. So I think this year they are going to be much improved. I think last year was a valuable lesson. Played some incredible teams and should be very excited. But let's go ahead. We'll take one more quick break and we'll be joined on the other side by Coach Russ.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.
All right, welcome back, guys. So I'm very excited about our third and final guest. It is going to be John Russ, head coach of Providence Christian. Last year, to call it their best season ever, it would not quite explain just how monumental of a season it was. It's a program that had never won more than 2 games in a season. They end up having an unbelievable year in Coach Russ's debut, make the playoffs, set a school record for points, and really should have an exciting offseason as they prepare to build off that. And I think he's on it right now. Let's go ahead and see.
Dang, where you get this car?
Okay, hold on just a sec. All right, Coach Russ, we can see your, I guess, ceiling. Are you there? Hold on one sec. All right, so last year, an 8-3 finish. They put up over 40 points a game. Super exciting, and they really took everyone by storm, which is their moniker. But I want to talk to him because he's been busy on the recruiting trail with some of his athletes, taking them on visits. And so this is a big difference. Last year, it was about preparing for his first season as head coach. This year, they built off this success, so now he's had a busy offseason getting his players in front of these colleges. What's up, Coach Russ? How's it going?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing great. So thank you so much for coming on. I know you've been a busy man, and I've been the king of bad timing. Every time I ask you to come on, you're either on a trip, it's spring break, but that's what I want to start with. How has this offseason been? It seems like you've been pretty busy.
It's been good, really busy. I got hired last year around this time, so I didn't get to meet the kids or do any of the off-season training that I kind of like to do, with the workout schedule and things like that, and also some college visits for some players that need to be, seen. So it's been busy, but it's been fun.
Yes, and that's obviously a product of the success you guys had last year. Now these kids are getting opportunities. You know them. They've proven it on the field. I was talking about how big of a season that was for your program, but kind of put it into perspective for us, just how huge it was to really have that first breakthrough season for you guys.
It was great, man, to be honest with you. 8 wins for a program that I think has the most wins they ever had was 4 in years past. It was great. I had 17 seniors that just bought into what we preach to them on a daily basis. And our slogan's simple, man. It's just trust. It's an acronym. But if you don't trust me, then I can't trust you, and you got to trust your teammates, and it just goes from there. And they believed in it, and now we got our culture kind of going, that all these kids, coming up in the future are hungry just to do what the seniors did and hopefully further, rather than just the playoff appearance, kind of win a playoff game and continue to build it.
And once the season ended and maybe you got some time to unwind, but what were those meetings like with your coaching staff, kind of evaluating the successes of last year and then kind of formulating that game plan for this offseason?
It was good. The staff is great. I have one of the best staffs in the state. A couple college guys and a couple NFL players as well that were former NFL players. And we just sat and talked about how we could do better. Honestly, we're a bunch of hungry guys that just want to continue to build things and develop kids. That's what I'm in the business for. I want to develop the kids from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade. And can see them continue to grow. So our plan, we're going to be different this year because we're younger. But again, it's just about developing them, believing in the kids, and getting them in the right situations to be successful.
Yeah, and when people see the point totals you guys put up last season, it was pretty incredible, and that had to have been just exciting for the players, getting all these different guys involved, for the fans. Talk about how just that high-scoring offense kind of embodied what the team's energy was like just on and off the field.
Yeah, it was great. We averaged 43 points a game, I believe. We got over 50 a few times. And it really comes down to just, the kids, man. They executed what we were trying to do. And it gave life to the football program. Everyone loves scoring. That's how you get fans, in the stands sometimes. And we had enough talented players that bought into what we were trying to do that could make that, that scoring really blow up for us this year, and I got to give credit, honestly, first to the offensive linemen because, without them, man, you don't have all the, the 1,200-yard receiver, the 2,200, the 2,500-yard passer.
Absolutely. And so those seniors were huge. You talked about how they bought in. So
and they
throughout – oh, my bad. Can you hear me, Coach?
Week and playing.
Hold up, I think we're caught up. My bad, Coach.
No worries, man. I think I got frozen for some reason.
Okay, so continue, kind of restate what you were saying.
About the offense?
Yeah, you're talking about the offensive line.
Yeah, so the offensive line, they deserve the most credit because without the trenches, man, you can't have, a 1,200-yard receiver, a 2,200-yard rusher, a 2,500-yard passer with 33 touchdowns. You can't do that without those big uglies in the middle. And they did a great job just understanding our scheme and executing it each week. And that just gave life to our program and got a lot of people, supporting what we're trying to build here.
And how much was that understanding of the game based off just film study? How much effort did you guys put, or emphasis did you put into game film before these matchups to where they're able to communicate well and allow you guys to run smoothly?
Yeah, from my college background, I coached at Mercer for 2 years. I was a graduate assistant at Georgia State, and film study is just very important. you got to understand, what they are, a 3-down slanting team, or they a 3-down 2-gapping team, or they're a 4-down under front run, and, based on what that alignment is like, those guys got to understand where their placements are on the run scheme, and then also where those blitzes are coming from. So that was huge help to us. And then I'm also a big walkthrough guy. Throughout my years in playing and coaching, I just feel like that helped me tremendously, and I think it helped our kids. So we did walkthroughs regularly, during class even sometimes we got to, 7th period weight training, just to make sure that they understand the assignment.
Yep, and you were obviously a former quarterback, so I want to ask you about that relationship between the quarterback and the offensive line, because a lot of times you'll see obviously the running back loves his offensive line, but I feel like that film room, there's a special relationship between that offensive line and the quarterbacks.
There is no doubt. You got to understand, the way we run some things is the quarterback's got to protect himself by changing some protections maybe and communicating that effectively to the offensive line. So any quarterback that does not, have a great relationship with their offensive line, man, they're doing it wrong, in my opinion, man. Those guys are protecting you every single play, and you guys got to be on the same page, communicating the correct run, the correct pass fits, whatever it is. If you don't have a good relationship, then it's not going to be good for the offense.
Yep, and I guess the good sign of you guys having a lot of blowouts last year is you probably got to put some of these young guys in that you're going to be more reliant on this season. So who were some of the guys that got a lot of snaps and experience last year that you think are ready to really take it up this year?
Honestly, we had a junior last year. He has 3 offers right now. He started for us, so he's our leader of the offensive line coming back. But I'm excited for, one of our D linemen, freshman last year, who was one of our nose guard who signed to Miami of Ohio, OJ Alexander, his younger brother, Sagoon Alexander. I'm going to put him on the line a little bit as a sophomore on the offensive line. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. And then we have a bunch of other young kids like Will Malcolm, Jackson McDonald, Will Chatterton, that they've been kind of waiting in the wings because we had such a heavy senior offensive line last year. That they got to develop in the games that we kind of took it to some teams and blew them out. And I'm really excited to see what they're like this spring practice and this summer, and just continue to develop them.
And that's Segun Alexander, the rising sophomore?
Yep.
Okay, so
yep.
it looks like
he played
last year
as a freshman. Yep, he's a baller, man.
Yeah, 15 tackles for loss, 6'3", I think 260 last year. How is the weight room approach maybe differed this year to last year now that you are more familiar with some of the guys?
It's not different. It's just that they have a plan, like Coach Sturdivant did a great job, but then he took the Parkview job, so there was a gap there, core, weightlifting, opportunities that I think they missed because they didn't have their head football coach with them, on their tail like they need to be every day. So I think it was just, us putting our strength and conditioning program in the off season and making sure that we gain weight where we need to, move weight correctly with good form, but also have powerful, weight gains and, squatting over 400 and benching over 240 like you want to, and all those things. So it's been great for me to be here for a full calendar year rather than, showing up like right now and trying to make a season go.
Yep, and then I want to ask you about this year's schedule. When did you guys finalize these matchups? Was it tough to field the 10 games?
It was not. I honestly gave us a little harder of a non-region schedule on purpose compared to last year.
These are some historic venues: Commerce,